Mm-hmm. 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 All right. I can see only two of us here, right? So far. Let's wait for somebody. I can't hear you. It's your microphone is muted. I can't hear you at all, like zero. Mm-hmm. Yeah, find out how to turn it on. Perhaps if you use your headset, it will be better. I think I'll pause the video, the recording. Resume. Okay, good. So once again, hello everyone. I'm a little bit worried because, in fact, what I'm going to do is far from easy. I have to admit that all these seminars are far from easy because, you know, it's such a responsibility of being a model. So every time I'm a little bit crazy at the beginning, like busy, but I hope we'll manage together. So, presenting the target language. We decided to have the seminar after my observations of your lessons, yes, and I noticed that this thing has to be clarified. And I hope what we're doing today will help you get like a vision of what it at least should look like. Mm-hmm. And we're starting with the following. First, a little bit of theory, and after that I'll demonstrate, okay? Look, what's this?
Some scheme, probably, some picture.
Is that a scheme? Mm-hmm.
It seems like some hieroglyphs, Chinese
for
me.
Mm-hmm. A Chinese character.
Japanese. A Chinese?
Mm-hmm. A Chinese character. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
And so, a Chinese character, what exactly is this?
Let me think. Probably the first one is something like a house or some building.
Maybe I support.
Looks like that, at least. And the second one, oh, I can't see you. Oh, wait a second. I don't know. It seems like Soviet Union symbols, or
some tools.
Yes, probably some tools.
Ladies, what are you now thinking about?
Picture.
Picture and what of this picture?
The meaning.
Okay, the meaning. Very good. So this is the first thing that in this group you got interested in. And look, this is a piece of language. I'd like you to think and give me ideas about what information you need to know about this target language To say I know it.
We need to know the meaning of these two pieces
I'll
of
put it
language.
down. And share.
I don't know if they are words. Are they words?
Okay. Let me try. Can everybody see my screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, good. So what do you need to know in order to say I know this word? Okay, there's some help. It was a word.
Okay.
And how many words were there?
2.
2 words, yeah?
1.
Oh, 1 word.
Yeah, this was 1 word.
We know Chinese really well.
I expected that. I hoped for that. Anastasia. So how many words? Okay, for example. Okay, what else?
We need to
you
know
mentioned meaning. What else?
meaning, yes. Probably we need to like have the image of this word, or no, we need to know the context. I think we should also know the context for this.
What do you mean by this context? What do you mean by that?
How exactly and in what like how exactly should we use this word in speech, like regarding
Maybe part of
words.
speech?
I think there are 2 different things, how we use it in speech. I'll get back to this, how we use it in a second. And you said part of speech, okay. Okay. How we use it in speech, what can it refer to? What can it be about?
Maybe coherence or pronunciation, maybe. It's important.
Yes,
Okay.
Yes.
Coherence, what do you mean by coherence? I think
Like what words can be linked with this word?
What words go together with it, right? Okay. What words go together? Somebody said pronunciation, right?
Yeah.
With your example, it's incredibly important.
Yes, okay. Okay. What else? Okay, I'll tell you a little bit about this word for you to have more ideas. So first, is this okay? Am I holding it all right?
We don't know.
Yes.
We need to know the graphic, yeah, like the graphic image.
Somebody said, can you repeat this?
Spelling.
Yes, exactly. Spelling. So now it's all right. Now this is the word. And which is the first, this one or this one? How do you?
Left.
So this is the first one. In Chinese, you read it in our usual way. How would you call this information? Not this way, but this way.
Left, right.
Okay. Clockwise like this. Okay. I would say direction of reading. Can you remember a couple of languages where it's important, which are different from ours?
Arabic language is read from right to left, right?
Arabic, and one more, at least.
Hebrew, maybe? Hebrew,
yes. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm not very knowledgeable in this sphere, I guess Japanese characters are read from top to bottom. In Chinese, it's like us, and in Japanese, from top to bottom. But I might be mistaken, I hope I'm not. Maybe in traditional, like in the modern world, they've changed.
I've seen a guy in the subway reading a book, and yes, they place the symbols like that.
Okay, so let's see how many words. 1, meaning. Okay, the meaning. This word means comrade if you use it in the Chinese communist context. However, nowadays, when the world is modern, this word is not very much used. You will normally see this in books and literature from the time when the communist regime was like striving. It's striving today, but now it like still they can't avoid modernizing. And today, when people say this word, they don't mean comrade. They mean gay, homosexual.
That's very interesting logic.
So this is the way the world changes. This is about the meaning and something else. You will tell me what. I say tongji. This is pronunciation. Tongji. And this word has 2 syllables. 1 and 2. Tongji. Okay, that's probably all I know about this word. And now, I gave you more information than we mentioned here. What other information did I give? So, meaning, yes. How many words? Okay. How about how we use it in speech? Did I tell you that?
No, probably.
I did. What did I tell you about?
The meaning. Well,
it's not the meaning. How about how we use it in speech?
Like if it's a commonly used word or not, and yeah.
Yes.
Maybe some stylistic. Is it a slang word or no?
Okay. Maybe slang or something else, right? What else? Well, the context in which you use it. Somebody mentioned it, but I wanted you to specify. Yes. Okay. Part of speech. Oh, I didn't tell you. What do you think the part of speech is?
It's like noun.
Noun, yes. Pronunciation. I gave you spelling, direction of reading. I told you something else about this word.
If it's, let's say that is a 2-syllable word, right?
Syllables, for
like
example.
parts.
Okay. And something else.
You also told another possible meaning of this word, like the historical
Origin of this word.
Origin, yes, the origin of this word.
Well, with this word, it was really important. With some other words, perhaps it won't be so. But here it's like I put it as boy. What should I do? What happened? Can you see this or not?
Yes.
Yeah, we can.
You opened some window, yes? On your computer, and we see it black. You should close it, and we will start seeing your file.
Yeah, it's just I didn't do anything, and
it appeared, but we don't see what is written there. We can see it's black for us.
Okay, I see.
Probably just to click on that red square.
It's something from Zoom, and it wants to do something. And meeting for all. Why would I end it? I'm sorry, technical problem.
That's okay.
To get assign a host before you click leave meeting. No, I'm not leaving the meeting. Cancel. Okay. We're still here. Can you see me? It's working.
Yeah.
I'll close it later. Don't want to interrupt. Okay. I told you about if it's modern or old-fashioned.
Yes.
All right.
So how much is it used today? Okay. Let me check it if everything is there. How do you feel? Is this all the information we need to know this one?
Maybe we know we really need to know with which words it goes together.
Well, in this case, with this word, it's rather not in which with which word it goes together, but in which context. So if we use it in speech today, it means gay. And if you see this in literature from maybe 40, 50 years ago, literature written in books, this means comrade. Like we say Mr. and they say comrade, and we used to say comrade, right? So this is like in which context. All right, let me check with my notes. Okay. Do you think this word is formal or informal?
Register. Today, informal for sure.
Yeah.
And not very commonly used. So register, yes, you're right. It's called register.
I think we also need to know if it is polite to use it, or, well, how much is it polite or appropriate to use it? Yes.
I think that this goes to register too, right?
Register.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I think that we also, maybe for higher levels, like upper intermediate, advanced levels, we can mention what productive suffixes, prefixes can we use with this word. So something about word building.
Okay. Do you mean like derivatives?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Suffixes, prefixes, etc. Okay, good. What else?
Then maybe some collocations, if it's necessary.
It seems to me that it's very similar to this.
Okay.
Let's go together.
Yes, but only if it's necessary here.
It depends on the word, like, and it depends on what you want to present now. Yeah, but a good idea. Okay, let me once again check with my notes. When I do this, I assume you see a black screen, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's strange. It didn't used to be so. Something changed. Okay, and one more thing is: do you say tonji or tonji?
Stress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One more thing is stress.
Maybe together with pronunciation.
Yeah, but okay, if you prefer. I'll put plus stress, because stress is an aspect of pronunciation, right? Okay, very good. So this is more or less all of it. And we were looking at this word, and in fact, this information is necessary for any target language we may think of. It can be a phrase, like a word, a phrase, a piece of grammar, anything. And this is the information we need. And we usually say that we thump the target language. What do you think it means, thump? It's an abbreviation. Any ideas?
Present for P.
Okay.
Something like about functional using, maybe, no?
I like the word use for you. Okay. What else?
Maybe understand.
Can you speak up, please?
Maybe understand.
Understand. No, U stands for use. Somebody said it and I accepted it. Okay.
I think P maybe. F.
P is.
Or maybe P is for presenting.
No.
Like, no.
Pronouns.
Thump is all the information about a piece of target language. So we need to know use.
Maybe meaning for M.
Okay.
P for pronunciation, right?
Right.
And F.
Function.
Function is like use.
Mm-hmm.
Form?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, form. Look, there are 4 components, and they just need to all be present in the information you give. The FUMP is just to pronounce it easily. Like it can be pump, it can be map, but like it's just all the 4 components need to be present. Like I didn't invent it, it's like I was taught it, like to check myself. Look, we have all these things here. I'd like you to think about these elements and say which of them are use, which of them are am, meaning, which of them are p, pronunciation, which of them are form, f. So how many words? What does it refer to? Form.
Form.
Okay, good, next. Well.
Meaning.
Yeah, that's easy. Next.
Use.
Right. Next.
Use again.
Okay,
form.
Right.
Pronunciation. Yeah.
Sorry. Pronunciation. Okay.
Form. Yeah.
Form. Right. Next.
Form.
Yes, it is. Next.
Again. Form again.
I'm not sure. It can be form or pronunciation. Yeah, probably it's form, but when you speak about pronunciation, you probably look at how many syllables which are pronounced, which not. So together. Okay, next. This one.
Use.
Right. Next.
Use again.
Oh, a lot of
form.
And form. Okay, very good. So we have all the elements here. Do we? Yeah. Seems like that. And look, think please, this thump and this type of information, in which order do you normally get this information when you watch a film in English, for example, and you find a new word? In which order? What comes first?
Pronunciation.
Use.
I would say it's use. Why?
We hear in context some particular word.
Yeah. Yeah. It appears in some context. Okay. And then goes, somebody said?
Meaning?
Pronunciation, yes. And so we have a context and we hear the word. Then what do we pay attention to?
Form, maybe.
Here, when we watch a film,
it depends.
We may look at the form, or we perhaps may skip it, which is not very good, but we are just watching a film. If you look at the context and you hear the pronunciation from the context, you will understand
meaning.
So it's use, pronunciation, meaning. Okay.
Yeah.
When you're reading a book, in which order does this all appear?
Pronunciation will be the last.
If it actually happens. It hopefully does, but life shows it doesn't always happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
So first is form, I guess.
However, I would say that first you see this word in
context. Yeah. Again.
So then it starts with
use.
Again. Use, then form, then
meaning.
Yeah. Okay. So this is the way it happened. If you're talking to a person and this person says some word and you don't understand this word, in which order will this information come?
Use.
Pronunciation.
Use.
Pronunciation.
Meaning will be somewhere there.
Yeah, yeah. Or you will ask about the meaning if you can't guess it. Okay. How about the form? How about the form?
If we pay attention on it, it can come to us, but not necessarily.
Yeah, you will probably guess what part of speech it is, yes, from the context or from the explanation, but the spelling and stuff will probably be skipped, or you'll check it later. Or right away in Google Translate or in a dictionary, if you have it with you. Okay, how about the conversation where you are talking about something and you need to say this word, but you don't know it?
Sorry, can you repeat?
A conversation, you are talking about something, you need a word in English, but you don't know it. In which order will this all appear?
The meaning comes first.
Well, meaning used like together. You need a word with this meaning in this context. And what else? What's next?
No, not pronunciation. Meaning use.
So meaning used like together.
Then pronunciation maybe.
If somebody
Maria,
tells us.
Can I ask you to turn your sound up, because I hardly hear you.
You can hear me, yes.
I can hear you, but it's very quiet. Maybe you can do something, if it's possible.
Something with time.
Yeah, because like I would really like to hear what you're saying, but.
And now is it better? No.
A little bit, yes. Thank you. Okay, good. So
I think that the form comes next, because we're looking for the correct form of the verb, how to say it, maybe, and then we remember the pronunciation and we produce it in our speech.
But it's only if we remember the word. If we don't remember it, if we just explain it, it will never appear.
So we explain it, then maybe the form and actually the word never comes, or the other person helps you, right? So first the use and meaning, then the pronunciation, then maybe the form. So why do you think I'm talking about it in different situations?
In which order? In which order we should present target vocabulary?
It's connected, yes. Is the order in all these 4 situations the same or different?
No, it's
like in what case of presenting the student will get information?
It's different.
So the order, the order is different, and in fact, it's you who chooses how you do it. Okay? When you are presenting the target language, it's you who chooses. The idea is that you have all these elements. That's the most important thing. However, there are more logical and less logical ways to do this. In a lesson, what do you think? What is the most logical order? Please say and explain. Think a little.
Well, I think it's usually meaning, form, pronunciation, and then use.
Why so?
Why so? Because we usually present language through, for example, it may be some text or maybe listening. Then a student can see the form and we name it, so student can see pronunciation. After it, we usually, for example, show it in a sentence.
Just a second, you said that it appears in a text or an audio, and then you said that you show it in a sentence.
I mean, firstly, maybe we don't pay attention to this, and then we show how we should use.
Then you show, in the same sentence, just focus on it in the text or in a new sentence?
So we focus.
So yes, you're right. First we see the context. Because if you don't have the context, how will you understand? Without the context, it's not clear how you can understand it. And from this context comes the meaning, as you said, right? And we focus attention on this meaning. Then you're right, we focus on the form, because we need to understand how it works. Finally goes pronunciation. And then, although we've already seen this word in the use, in the context, we pay attention to the use. So like meaning, form, pronunciation, use. This is like considered to be the most logical order. Why do you think it's not logical to start with the form?
Because we need to explain this word without context, it's more difficult to do. So probably it's easier to start with presenting in context and with meaning.
Because if we start with the use, with the function of the words, we can elicit information and student can guess. And if we just present form, we like do spoon feeding to the student.
Okay, so it's feeding first of all, and then look, if we analyze the form, do you understand what you're analyzing?
What do you mean?
I mean, we speak about plus S or not plus S, like in or not in, but do you understand why we are doing this? What is it?
Yeah, not really.
And it feels a bit strange to do this when you don't know what the idea is. What exactly you are analyzing and why you need it. Same goes for pronunciation. When I was studying, there was a funny situation when at the lesson, I was doing a lesson and I was observed by the presenter or by the tutor, and somebody asked me about the word, and I started to train pronunciation before I clarified the meaning. And then the tutor said, well, come on, do you really think they are like monkeys or parrots to just copy something they don't understand? So this is what I was told, and I still remember it. It was 10 years ago. So, it's a good thing to remember. They are not monkeys. They are like, they need to understand what they're doing. So first, meaning and use. Context. Okay, good. Do you have any questions or comments at this point?
That's clear.
Yeah, everything's clear.
So far, so good. Good. Now, to show you a different page, I need to stop this share and start a new one, right? Yes? Okay. You do this every day. I don't. So
Yes, you stop sharing and you start sharing again.
A new one, yes? Okay. We are going to pretend to be elementary students now. And who wants to be my partner? Because I need to show it.
I want.
Okay. Anastasia, so you are my partner. You will be this elementary students. I guess you see everything. Can I move it? Oh, yeah. Like this. Oh, good. So imagine that we are at a lesson and we are working with this text, typically British. And we've read this text. We've looked at what is typically British. You've already told me what you think is the same in our culture, right? So we've worked with it as a text. And now we're going to work on the grammar. I'll give everyone like a minute to look this text through to understand what it's about. Everyone, you have a minute to read it. Some of you might have recognized it. It's from New English File Elementary. The first serious text with serious grammar. So, can I call you Nastya?
Sure.
Okay. So, Nastya, this story, it says, typically British. Does it mean that people in Britain do this now or usually?
I think that they do it usually.
Because it's typically British. Okay, very good. Let's look at paragraphs 1, 2, and 3. You have highlighted words. What color are they?
They are red or orange.
Okay, let it be red. So they're red. And look, what form are they? I, we, you, they, he, she, it. What form are they?
I, you, they. Sometimes I see like with she and he.
Just a second.
It depends on the paragraph, yeah?
So, Nastya, you're elementary student. Remember, it's very difficult for you. And paragraphs 1, 2, and 3. So, British people like children. What form is it?
They.
We have a rule.
We.
Next word. What form?
They.
Next.
Again, they.
Then.
I.
Then.
They. I, and again I.
And there's one more. Look at paragraph 3.
They. They. You. They.
Okay. So, what forms are they all together?
I, you, we, they.
Well, I is I. It's always special, like special. And you, we, and they. What's special about them?
They are plural.
Yeah, they are many. Okay, very good. They're plural. Look, and look at these verbs. Do they change or do they not change? Look at British people like children. Like, do you change this verb or not?
No.
And it's they. Then paragraph 2. When I want a cigarette, want. Do you change this verb?
No.
Okay, so when we have I, we, you, they, in a positive sentence, do you change it or not? Change the verb.
In positive, we don't change.
So we don't change. Okay, find 2 negative forms.
Okay, British students and they don't smoke.
Okay.
And cars don't stop for you in Madrid.
Very good. How do you make a negative?
With the help of don't.
So you put don't. And the verb, do you change it?
No, we don't change it.
So it's basic form or infinitive. Okay? So tell me, when we have I, we, you, they, and we speak about usual life, what do we do? In positive sentence.
So in positive sentence, we use normal verb.
Good. Okay.
And in negative, we use don't.
Don't
and again, usual verb.
That's right. Okay, good. Paragraph 4. We have many verbs. What form are they? I, we, you, they, he, she, it.
So the woman, she just puts she he. So she and he.
She and he. And you know that he, she, it, and it, they usually go together. They are like a company. Okay, good. Now, there are positive verbs and negative verbs. Which is negative?
Negative doesn't cook.
Okay, let's leave it aside. For now, let's look at positive. She just puts a pizza, but she watches cooking, and the man cooks. Do you change the verb?
Yes, we add ending.
What?
Well, it's different. I don't know how. Sometimes we add s, sometimes es.
Okay, s or es. So when it's positive and it's he, she, it, what do you do?
If positive she, he, it, we add ending s or es.
Okay, very good.
And I see that we change has, yes?
There's one crazy verb, right? So the child has. What's the infinitive of this verb? What's the basic form?
Well, I think have.
Yes. And do you add s or es?
No, I think we use different verb.
You change it completely. At all. Okay. Good. Very good. Let's look at the negative. How do you make a negative?
So I see that we don't change verb and we don't use don't, but we use doesn't.
Okay. Very good. So when it's I, we, you, they, the negative goes with
doesn't and infinitive.
Just a second. I, we, you, they. The negative goes with
don't.
And when it's he, she, it, the negative goes with
doesn't.
Okay. Okay. And the verb. Do you have cook or cooks?
No, we have cook. No ending.
Doesn't cook. So it's basic verb. What's the name of this basic verb? Basic form.
Infinitive.
Yeah, infinitive. Good memory. Okay. My elementary student. Okay. Now let's summarize once again. If we speak about usual life and we have I, we, you, they, what do we do?
We use a basic verb.
It's not like basic, but yes, the basic form.
Infinitive.
And if we have the negative with I, we, you, they?
We use don't plus infinitive.
Okay, and if we have he, she, it, what do we do?
Positive or negative?
Okay, positive.
For positive, we add ending s or es. Sometimes we change verb, and if it's negative form, we say doesn't, and we don't change verb.
Okay. So you said sometimes we change form. What verb do you remember? Where we
I remember have has.
Okay. And for now it's enough. Okay, good. Okay. Now look here. You have infinitives. Can you change them into he, she, it form?
Okay. So cooks, goes, makes, watches, and has.
Okay. Okay. Then I will ask the student to write these forms in chat. Let's not do this now, okay? And so look, and I will see if the forms are right. So look, you said sometimes we add s, sometimes we add es. Look at these words. When do you add S and when do you add ES?
So if it ends on K, for example, we add S.
And what if it ends with T, with T?
I think we also add S.
So T, Q, just S. Okay, go on. More ideas?
But if I have T and chair, we add ES.
Ch, sh, s, x. ES. Okay. How about go?
Go. So we leave this O and add ES.
ES. So watch. Ch, sh, s, x. And go. What's special about it? Why ES?
So maybe because it's too short verb.
No, not because of that. How is it different from cook? Cook and go.
So in cook we have double O.
Let's look at the end of the word. Okay, it's a normal elementary student. Yeah. So,
I think Nastya is brilliant elementary student. My students would stop at the very first point.
Yeah, very good. Okay. So let's look at the end of the word.
So it ends on consonant and O ends on vowel.
Yeah, we pretend that we've already learned these words with this consonant and vowel. Yeah. Okay. Good. Then we know that have is just a crazy word. You remember have, has. And how about make?
So it also ends in vowel, but we just add S.
So maybe the assumption special about this vowel. What vowel is it?
Maybe
just what is the letter? Look at it.
K.
A make? Is it the last letter?
No.
What's the last letter?
E.
So when you have E, what do?
We just add ending S.
Yep. Okay. And then pronunciation. Look, what I think now is that well, the procedure for pronunciation will be very similar to the one with the spelling. So we can stop here. What do you think? Or shall I demonstrate it?
Pronunciation?
Maybe. Yeah.
I think no.
You think no what?
Like shouldn't demonstrate.
And, I would like some kind of demonstration because this is the very first stage and it's really not clear how to explain beautifully in English, how to explain all those voiceless, voiced and so on.
I see. Okay.
Or do you just give remember or
no,
in
no,
what
no,
way?
Of course
No,
not.
okay.
Okay, let's see then, Nastya. Let's go on. You're still an elementary student. So now pronunciation. Let's look here. And we have these words, these phrases. I'll say, you repeat. She smokes a lot.
She smokes a lot.
Good. She drinks coffee.
She drinks coffee.
He eats chips.
He eats chips.
She lives in a flat.
She lives in a flat.
He has a cat.
He has a cat.
She does exercise.
She does exercise.
He watches TV.
He watches TV.
It finishes in a minute.
It finishes in a minute.
Okay. Look, here we have pronunciation. S. Can you say it, please?
S.
And here, Z.
Z.
Okay, very good. Now look, your two fingers. Show me your two fingers like this. Very good. No, like this. Now put them here. Put them here. Okay. Say s.
S.
No. S.
S.
Oh, good. Can you feel anything? S.
S.
Now say z.
Z.
What do you feel?
Like some vibrations.
Yeah. So when do you feel vibration? When it's s or z?
When it's z.
So s, it's unvoiced. And z is voiced vibration. Okay. Now let's see. She smokes a lot. And
she smokes a lot.
Okay. Smoke. The last letter. Is it voiced or unvoiced? Vibration or no vibration?
Smokes, no vibration.
And drinks too. And eats. Vibration or no vibration? Check it.
Eat. No vibration.
They are unvoiced. No voice. So when we have unvoiced consonants at the end, do we say s or z?
When unvoiced, we say s.
So smokes, drinks, eats. Can you say it?
Smokes, drinks, eats.
Good. Okay. Now she lives in a flat. Live. Is it voiced or unvoiced?
Live. It's voiced.
So with voiced, do we have s or z?
With voiced, we have z.
Z. So lives, vibration. Okay.
Lives.
And has is crazy. So you just remember has. And she does exercise. Say do.
Do.
Is this
do?
Is this a consonant or a vowel?
So it's vowel.
So not voiced, not unvoiced. It's a vowel. So and with a vowel, do we say s or z?
So we say z.
So about s and z, tell me the rule.
Well, when we don't feel vibration and it's unvoiced consonant, we say s, pronounce s at the end, and when we at the end of the word we've got voiced consonant, we say z at the end.
Okay. Yes. Then we have has, which is just crazy, and there's one more thing about z.
And when we have vowel at the end, we say z.
Okay, vowel. Yes, voiced and vowel. Okay, but we have one more. Is. I'll say, you pay attention. He watches TV. Watch is. Can you repeat this? He watches TV.
He watches TV.
And it finishes in a minute.
It finishes in a minute.
Very good. Okay. So, is. Why? Any ideas?
Yes, like you said, there is a group with ch, sh, x.
So you see, when it's ch, sh, x, there's something strange. Okay. So try to say watches.
Watches.
Okay.
Well, difficult.
Look, why? English people, they're lazy. Why difficulties? Yes, but watches. Relaxed. Okay. Okay. Very good. And now we'll go to practice and blah blah blah. So this is like the end of it. Okay. This is what I usually do with elementary students when I present this grammar. And when I present any grammar at all, I do something very similar. And my question to you is, what do I do?
What is your question?
What do I do? What did you notice about what I do?
You don't tell the rules yourself. You try to make students understand the rules.
Very good. How do I do this?
Well, you do it gradually.
Yeah.
So that student, you elicit the rule from the student.
How do I do this? What's my instrument?
Elicit information, questions.
Problematic questions.
Okay. Yeah, questions. And look, I'll just show you. This is my ugly plan. And in my ugly plan, I have a question, and let me see, like, for example, here, British people like children. Do you change the verb? And in brackets, I put the answer. No. This is the answer which I need from the student.
And if you don't get it, do you continue asking?
This means that my question was bad. And when I plan, I ask these questions myself. Like, I pretend to be like Nastya. Nastya was a brilliant elementary student, but I pretend to be a stupid elementary student. Like the dumbest elementary student I can imagine. And I ask this question. Yeah, really, it is so. I ask this question, and I see if I, as an elementary student, can give this answer no. If the answer is different, then I need to change the question.
Do we need to introduce some target language before we start working with grammar like this? For example, the word change.
I think by this lesson, your student will already know some words like change and don't change, the same or different, form, positive and negative. But if they don't, yeah, like let's imagine that it's the first sentence. Then I will demonstrate, like, for example, have and has. Like have, this is form. And then I say has change or not change. And people say what? And then I say it changes. And then they say, changes, then it's different. Okay, and positive and negative, you put a plus and the minus in chat.
Yeah, positive, negative, it usually works well, but change.
Well, my brilliant students already knew the word ending.
Yes.
Then I would probably remember the happy ending. If well, there is a problem. And when I plan, I predict such difficulties. Like, does my student know this word? I need this word for my question. Does my student know this word? I hope yes. What if not? What will I do? How will I show this?
Present this language before you give this text, if you suppose the student.
And how to do it with the help of another text.
Yes, it will be very difficult. So with such things, like I start at the first lesson like the same and different. Then like positive, negative in the next lesson or later in this lesson. So not like one topic, but a little, then a little when the student has this question. But I'm ready with ideas how to explain it. And I plan it when I write all these questions.
But I think student should be familiar, because sometimes we are trying to present language, and if student doesn't know some word, you try to say, oh, it's positive form, it's present simple, and he thinks, oh, what is running, run, for example.
Okay. They need to know this vocabulary, you mean? The vocabulary, but I've already told you that let's imagine that we've done the reading part, yes, where we look at the context, we look at details, we look at the meaning of words. We've already done that. So it's not the topic of today's sermon. Well, and a little bit about the quality of the questions. What kind of questions did I ask? Like they should get these answers, which I need. What else about it?
Well, they are open questions. Well, sometimes they're
Yes, no.
Yeah, sometimes yes/no questions. I mean, you have the information gap in every question, so the student needs to
answer.
find.
Well, if you're asking
yes.
a question, of course, you need some answer. Yes. Helen, you mentioned yes and no questions.
Okay. Yes, I believe they are the best in the very beginning.
Yes.
I think we've got two types of questions, like context questions, personalized questions, something of this. No?
I did not ask any personalized questions. It's
okay.
about grammar. It's not. I see what you're talking about, but it's different. So yes, no questions. So does it change? Yes or no. What else? What else did I do? I did a very important thing with this question. Remember the first question, typically British.
It's a great way to introduce present simple, I think. You know, you
yes,
just try
but
to say, you asked, do they do it every day or no? That's the question.
Yeah, I actually forgot I had to say present, past, or future. I skipped it, but okay, I decided that now usually is also good. Yes. And what's special about this question? What kind of question is it? The structure of this question.
Alternative?
And in this alternative question, did I have the right answer?
Yes.
So,
sure. Okay. So you propose ready answers.
And I need to choose such alternatives that are like crystal clear, like obvious.
Yeah.
Okay. And when I ask this yes and no questions, which I'm ready with, and alternative questions, crystal clear alternative questions, then what did I do after that? Like when we looked at this text, and then there were two parts. Yes, like I, we, you, they, and then he, she, it for the first part. So I finished with the first part. What did I do?
You ask the student to summarize maybe everything?
So I just ask, so what's special? Or tell me about the rules. Okay, so this is what happened here, and then I did a slightly different thing. I didn't ask first, is it this or is it that? I changed the strategy a little bit. What did I do? What kind of question?
Students need to remember what we have already discussed. I don't know how to call those questions.
Well, you
special.
Like here, yes, there was one special question, and so the student puts the right forms in chat. I check them; they are okay, and then I just say, look, sometimes and like how do you make this form? And the student says like S or ES once again, yes, and I say YS and YES. Here the students get this responsibility to analyze. Then my student gave some right answers and some wrong answers. What did I do?
You repeated your question.
Well, I changed them a little bit. So I accepted the right answers, and then I was ready to provide these options or to focus like go and cook. Like they were the same for the student, like let's look at the ending, the last letter. So I focused attention, but the responsibility was the students of what to do, of what is special. So the strategy is you like give the student a chance to give their ideas, and if they fail, you are ready on this paper or whatever you have. You are ready with the questions which will help him focus on a specific thing. And same goes here. First, I ask the general question. Maybe the student will guess. There are smart students who guess from the first time, and there are some students who guess in this grammar, and they can't guess in different grammar. So you provide them with a chance to guess and analyze, and if they can't, you are ready with questions to focus them.
Clear.
Okay. So this is for elementary students. For upper level students, you will give them more freedom. Like in most cases, you will ask them, so what do you notice? And they will tell you. And if they don't tell you immediately, what will you do?
Ask questions.
Yes. And when did you prepare these questions?
Before the lesson.
In advance, here.
Sure. You are ready with them before the lesson. And are you ready only with the questions?
No, we are ready with the answers also.
Which is also important. Very good. And it's not just an accident that we called this part like presenting target language demonstration. This only means that there will be the second part of the seminar in a month.
Great.
And what do you think will be the kind of seminar?
Practical?
Yeah. So this means that you will need to be ready with your ideas and like with some presentations. Okay. As usual, everyone present at this seminar needs to think, needs to plan it carefully. And I don't know who I'm going to choose. I also think that it's a very good chance for you to try this out on us, on each other, hear friendly feedback from your peers, and get some help. So if I were you, I'd really want to take part in this practical part, and I would really want to try and get some feedback on what I've done.
Should it be grammar?
Let's focus on grammar now. When choosing a topic, you may choose something you're going to present soon, like as preparation. Or you may choose a topic which you've tried several times and it didn't go well. Or you had to switch to Russian, which is a disaster or something. Or you may try to prepare the presentation, like such a presentation, for the grammar which you've never presented. So something you're going to present, something you have difficulties with, or something you've never done and you'd like to try.
May I say what I will present, and so nobody can take it?
Okay. So,
subject questions.
Oh, they are terrible, yes.
What I really hate presenting. Maybe you will really can give me some advice, because
I hope so. I hate them.
Yeah. And I've done it several times recently, and every time it was
So they are tricky. Every time I try again, I can't say that I found the perfect way, but what I've prepared, what I have in my mind, works with most of them at least. We'll see what you do. And once again, there is no one answer and no one correct presentation. You might do something like I could never imagine, but it will work well.
I think it depends on students' profile sometimes.
This too, yes. This depends on many things. Okay, good. I'm sorry to have kept you later, but I think it was worth it. And let's meet next month for the practice stage. Hope to see you next month. Okay.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Great.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.